Now have a look at the drivers in Mexico. Our driver predictions. Who is going to win the Mexican Grand Prix? We'll get into that in a second. But who's not going to do good? And surprise, surprise, it's this guy here, Lance Stroll. I'm not really expecting much. If he ends up getting in Q3, I'll be surprised. I mean, he kind of teases it sometimes in the practice sessions, but really, it's Lando Norris that does it. Why is Lance Stroll in Formula 1? You could write a university thesis on it. It would all come up with the same reason, nepotism. Moving on, we've got Esteban Ocon, who's really not been that on form. Compared to his teammate, he's been really struggling. Why is that going to change in Mexico? I've seen no evidence that's going to change in Mexico. The issue is, we know how good Esteban Ocon was. He is a Grand Prix winner. Yeah, it might have been a tiny bit lucky, but the way he held off Sebastian Vettel at the Hungaroring in 2021 showed his class. So why? This is one of the enigmas that we're not talking about. I don't understand why Esteban Ocon is struggling so much. I do understand why Gasly and Colapinto are struggling so much. And I think now Colapinto is absolutely driving for his career, which is why I'm going to put him one ahead of Pierre Gasly. Having said that, the Alpine car is not particularly good, is it? It kind of sucks, doesn't it? Yeah, it absolutely does. So, next up, Mr. Colapinto. I mean, what can I say? The Alpine car's not particularly good. Should Franco Colapinto, he got the team orders, and I understand why he did it. He's fighting for his career. However, when you look on the other side of stuff in the United States, Franco Colapinto, his only chance to get a seat next year is with Alpine, the people he defied the team orders. So, is that really much of a help, Colapinto? Probably not. But I understand why you did it. I'm not saying I agree with it. I understand. But yeah, I think they're going to struggle. Next up, Bortoleto. A really, really good driver. He's not really done. I think maybe he did an FP1 session in F1 car in Mexico. I'm not sure. But Hulkenberg is now the on-form driver. This is simply because Hulkenberg has such a good United States Grand Prix. I think he's found his form. And I think he's going to be better than Bortoleto. Yeah, so I do think Stake F1 may struggle a bit. Having said that, I'm hearing on the horizon there could be weather issues in Mexico. Rain? Surely not. Maybe. Having said that, we are this is Tuesday the 21st, so we are, best part of a weekish away still, at least for the race on Sunday. But next up, I think Lawson is going to continue his kind of struggles, especially compared to Hadjar. But I appreciate Hadjar did not really have a very good United States Grand Prix weekend, but VCarb didn't as a whole, and I still expect Hadjar to beat Lawson, sadly. Hulkenberg, yeah, again, I think Stake F1 may struggle to get some points, although they were very good in America. Now, when I say struggle, I'm talking like 11th, 12th, 13th, on the precipice of points, where if something funny happens, absolutely they probably will get points. Next up is Yuki Tsunoda, who I think is struggling again. As I've always said, it sounds like a stuck record, I know, but Red Bull just need to sort out their second car. They haven't. And it really hurts Yuki Tsunoda. I keep on saying it. The car's bespoke for Max Verstappen. I understand why it is. But it hurts Yuki Tsunoda. And what's also quite interesting is Red Bull, after Mexico, they've said now they're going to confirm who the Red Bull drivers are going to be for 2026. And I think it's good that they do it early, but it's going to be really interesting. And next up, we have got Oliver Behrman, who had a really solid American race, in spite of Yuki Tsunoda trying to send him into Laguna Seca rather than Austin with his moving under braking move, which I still think was really bad. And he's doing really well, isn't he? He's showing potential. He's chipping away. It kind of reminds me a bit, albeit I don't think the car was as good, of Charles Leclerc and Alfa Romeo. Obviously before Ferrari signed him. Really, really, really solid. He's becoming now. We had a few teething problems, let's say, in the first half of the year with his silliness under red flags, but still. Now next up, I've got Fernando Alonso. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe top 11. He can certainly get a few points. What's going to be interesting is Mexico is quite high in the air, so the climate's quite high, so the air is going to be different. It affects the downforce differently. It affects the engines differently, and we know how good the Honda engine's there, which may well prove me wrong about VCARB and be quite good. Hopefully it does, for VCARB's sake. But yeah, I think for Alonso, once again, kind of like Behrman and Hulkenberg and maybe Tsunoda, will be on the precipice, right on the edge of points, and hopefully will jump on any chance of getting in points. I wouldn't be surprised. And again with Hadjar, right on the precipice of those points. I think, yeah, potentially he can as well. I'd like to think I'm fairly confident. Maybe it's me being unfair, that he's going to beat Lawson based on their form so far this year. But I think where Isaac Hadjar isn't, I think Liam Lawson, like Colapinto, is absolutely fighting for his career. So next up, I got Carlos Sainz. Obviously, I'd be very surprised if he beats Alex Albon. I still think that Williams is really good. With the right strategy, I think they're the fastest still of those midfield cars. And with the right strategy and the odd safety car, he may well I think he's capable of getting in the points. He's done it before from far back. But next up, we're going with Alexander Albon. I'll be really disappointed if he's not somewhere in Q3 and not somewhere in the points come the end of the race. I think that Williams should go well. It's been a slippier car in the past, but yeah, I feel this should be a good one for Williams. Now we get into the big boys in Kimi Antonelli. This is no slight on Kimi Antonelli. I just think as America, let Singapore be in the street circuit and at night. So it was really, really cool. The America track was really hot. I think Mexico potentially, as we know, is going to be hot. And I think that's going to have an effect on Mercedes. So it's almost very much a 2x2 here. Because next up is going to be George Russell. And again, I think if it's really hot, the Mercedes probably are potentially going to struggle. If it's a bit cool, I think they may do well. If it's wet, again, they may do well in the cooler conditions. And that's it. The Mercedes, over all the cars, maybe equal with the Ferrari. But in terms of the Mercedes, it's the most peaky car. It's either potentially one of the fastest cars or behind the top cars. It really chops and changes from each weekend, where Ferrari are sometimes there or thereabouts, but sometimes how fast they are depends on what Mercedes are doing as well. And next up, I've got Charles Leclerc, who I think is doing really well, but I can't help but feel how we have an on-form Lewis Hamilton, who, if he doesn't mess anything up, I think Lewis Hamilton will be ahead of Leclerc come the end of the weekend. He had okay race pace in America. He did good in the sprint race. The sad thing for Lewis is he's missing FP1, which may have an effect on him slightly, but he's got 2 practice sessions rather than 1 to dial in that car, and he said he was feeling a lot more confident in the car, which is why I think he could do well. Wouldn't it be lovely if we get that first podium? But he's going to have to beat the next 3. He's going to have to beat the next 3 guys. And I've got Piastri on our podium in 3rd, simply because currently he's not the on-form driver he was in the first half of the year. Can he find his form? Absolutely. I thought he was absolutely going to bounce back in the USA and prove us all wrong. And he really it felt like, as a McLaren driver, he hardly turned up. So next up, I've got Lando Norris finishing 2nd again, simply because the Max Verstappen factor. Now, I think that McLaren is going to be fast. If they can get the setup right, absolutely. Now, if it's baking hot, then potentially that McLaren will be, I think, as fast, if not faster, than the Red Bull. There are rumours that Red Bull have another update between now and the end of the year. McLaren, I maybe wrongly reported that they had a flaw. I've obviously read that wrong, so I'm so sorry. So McLaren have said they're not really looking at any upgrades for the rest of the year, which is going to be a concern for both McLaren drivers. It is what they've got. It is still a fast car, but now I think everyone's kind of caught up with them, in particular Red Bull. It means getting that setup nailed even more. Can McLaren win races this year? Absolutely they can. The only reason why I'm choosing this guy is because he's already won 5 Mexican Grand Prix. And the Honda engine that they're having at the moment seems to really like the high altitude. And in previous times, the aerodynamics of the Red Bull was fairly okay too. Albeit, it was McLaren and Lando Norris that had the fastest car here last year. But I do think Max Verstappen is going to absolutely drive out of his skin. With 40 points still behind, I think he's still kind of driving with nothing to lose. He's over a win away from that lead of the championship. Now, If he is within a win, we might see a slightly different Max. But here, I think it's going to be a Max that potentially is going to take risks. But he's got to be careful. He takes risks against one of the McLaren drivers, and the other one wins it. And we have 2 DNS for Verstappen and a McLaren driver, with the other one winning it. That's 25 points. Championship over? Not necessarily, but championship definitely in the very hard expert mode, I think, at that point. Whether it's kind of like in the medium mode now for Max Verstappen, but Mexico is going to be so interesting, and I'm absolutely looking forward to the Mexican Grand Prix. I can't wait. It's going to be interesting. I just hope it's a more exciting race than America was. And here we go. As you can see, the track is across my face. The track is across my face. It is official. Let's get rid of that, shall we? So if you made it to the end, thank you very much. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. But at the end of the day, you just watching this is more than enough for us. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Until then, we'll speak to you soon. Thank you for watching. But above all else, stay safe.